Oh, let's try that one again. Good afternoon. Can somebody identify for me what the bright object in the sky is today that's kind of really bright and was kind of blinding you? Isn't it a wonderful afternoon? And it's good to be together. My name is Tom Fisher, and I'm a member of this community of faith here at Grace. And I understand this is kind of a new thing for Hawkinson Foundation to meet here. So I think it would be well and good for the members of this community who are upstairs at the moment, quite a few are downstairs preparing our repast afterwards. But if you're a member of the Grace community, stand up and come on, stand up y'all. And on three, we're gonna say welcome. 1, 2, 3. Welcome. There you go. So on behalf of not only this community of faith, but especially the committee members of the Hawkinson Foundation, and on behalf of our honored guests, I want to say a big thank you to each one of you for your presence this afternoon. It's a really good and important thing that we're gathered to do this afternoon, to gather in support of our honorary award winner, Sister Shar, and all of our scholarship winners. So we trust you'll be inspired by the stories that you're about to hear about the critical work of peacemaking and justice creating. So I'm assuming quite a few of you know a fair amount about the Hawkinson Foundation, but a thumbnail review would be a good thing, a good reminder of who we are and what deep passions and values we embrace. The foundation was created in 1988 and operated as an independent charitable organization for 29 years. And then 2 years ago, a decision was made to transfer the money and the mission of the foundation here to Grace Church, where it now functions as a dedicated fund of this congregation. So now it's audience participation time. This is a no-brainer. The fund was created to honor Pastor Vince Hawkinson. Very good, Pastor Vince Hawkinson. Pastor here for 31 years. And I want you to think for a moment about those years, from 1955 until 1985. Think about, in that period of time, what was going on in our country and why that enabled Vince to become a legend in his own time as a preacher, as a prophet, and what we like to call an impassioned troublemaker for the cause of peace. Can I get an amen to that? He was an impassioned troublemaker for the cause of peace. And so the mission of this organization isn't just to honor Vince, but to perpetuate his spirit in two ways. One is why we're here, to present scholarships and non-monetary honorary awards to individuals who are committed to the cause of peace and justice. And secondly, that we want to publicize those stories of those of you receiving the scholarships and honorary awards. Why? Because that's how we inspire others. That's how we get others engaged in this crucial work. Today, Sister Shar Madigan will become the 50th person to receive a Hawkinson Honorary Award. I think that's a banner day. What do we do about that? You're our golden girl. You're our golden girl, number 50. We're delighted. And we're presenting scholarships to 8 student scholars today. Since our beginning in 1988, the Hawkinson has distributed over $250,000 to 146 students. You mean you aren't going to applaud at that? Over $250,000 to 146 students. That's amazing work for a small organizations such as we are. We issue an annual newsletter which describes how the honorary award and scholarship winners have pursued and will continue to pursue peace and justice. Their stories and these newsletters can be found online at the Hawkinson Foundation. If you look at the bottom of your program, you see the website, and we encourage you to go and review and just celebrate these remarkable people. Okay, so last year, 2018, we awarded 4 scholarships, but since no one was selected for an honorary award, and since there was no award event, today, in baseball terms, we have a doubleheader. We have a doubleheader. We're going to celebrate 2 years in one to present scholarship, 4 scholarship recipients from last year, as well as 4 more from this year. And before we get to those presentations, I'd like to pause to recognize some of the people who are gathered today. If you have previously received an honorary award or a scholarship from the Hawkinson Foundation, don't be shy. Please stand up so we can recognize and honor you. Previous scholarship. Thank you for your witness. Thank you for coming today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I think we have 1 or more members of the Vince Hawkinson's family, if they are here today. Anyone from Vince's family, would you stand so we can, there we are. 3 guys similar in stature to Vince, if you will. Finally, if you are currently involved, or if you have ever been involved in the past, on the committees that do the work of the Hawkinson Foundation, the backroom work, the selection of the honorary award and the scholarship selection committee, or in any other role on the Hawkinson Foundation, would you please stand up so we can thank you? We are grateful, we are grateful. It's time for our scholarship presentations now by Stan Jacobson. And speaking of gratitude, would you join me in thanking Stan, who from the get-go was and continues to be a significant driving force of this organization. Stan.
Thank you very much, Tom. I coordinate the Scholarship Selection Committee, and I'd like to begin by explaining what we look for in a successful candidate for one of these scholarships. Candidates, we make them work quite hard. They have to complete an application form, an essay, and get a letter of reference to write on their behalf. And after that, we ask a few of them to come in for interviews. And this is what we look for in the interview: accomplishments related to peace and justice activities, leadership and courage in confronting injustice, the maturity of the candidate with a worldview that puts their interests in a broader context. Are they realistic and hopeful about what to expect, how one person can change the world? Is the candidate articulate in communicating their vision of a changed world to others? And finally, we look for role models who will inspire others. We hope our limited scholarship dollars will have the greatest possible impact. That's a lot to expect, but we're extremely proud of the people who have been selected. In our scholarship selection committee, we often feel humbled by the amazing things that these young people have accomplished. As Tom explained earlier, this year we are recognizing 4 students who received scholarships last year in 2018, and 2 of these students are unable to be with us today. Isabel Arriagada is in Santiago, Chile. She's doing their PhD research relating to prisoner mistreatment in Chilean prisons. I'd like to read from the award plaque for her. The Hawkinson Fund especially recognizes Isabel's efforts to address human rights violations, torture, and other prisoner mistreatment throughout the Americas, particularly in Chile. I'll let her know when to applaud. Najaha Musi is in Blacksburg, Virginia, in her third year of medical school. Her family immigrated to Minnesota from Ethiopia when she was 7 years old. She graduated from Harding High School in St. Paul and St. Olaf College. The Hawkinson Award especially recognizes Najaha's efforts to address healthcare disparities for marginalized communities and to advocate for accessible, affordable healthcare in Minnesota, Ethiopia, and around the world. The next two students were awarded scholarships last year, but we're delighted to be able to present them with these certificates this year. Rachel, would you like to come forward? Thank you. Rachel Riley is the Director of Business Development for Spire Credit Union, which has almost 20 branches throughout the state. Rachel was married, has 2 children, and in recent years she has spent her vacation time going to Thailand, Tanzania, and yesterday she just got back from the Philippines, not as a tourist and not for reasons which you might expect. The Hawkinson Fund especially recognizes Rachel's work to save lives by combating the evil of sex trafficking in Africa, Asia, and Minnesota. Congratulations.
Well, first and foremost, I just want to thank everybody who donates and contributes their time to this foundation. I am a baker by trade, and I didn't go to school when I should have. My dad's here today to attest to that. It took until my 33rd birthday to finally earn my degree, and the last the last semester of school, I had a choice that I could either continue doing the volunteer missions that I've been doing, or I could pay for my last semester of school, and this scholarship allowed me to do both this year, which is really amazing. So I believe that girls and women should not be for sale, that we need to teach our boys how to treat women and how to value women. And I did just get back yesterday. I'm a little bit jet lagged, but so bear with me here. I just got back from the Philippines. I was there for 4 weeks. The trips are generally 4 to 6 weeks, depending on how much time I can get away from work. I'm pretty blessed to have really great bosses that allow me to do that. And what I was doing this last time in the Philippines was working on the what next phase for girls who have been in trafficking. So in combination with my professional skills working with credit unions and cooperatives around the world, I partnered with some co-ops there to start some business resource centers and a new foundation myself where women can get micro grants to start their own business, get professional business planning skills, and constant coaching from industry experts in whatever industry they choose, and they can support their children going forward so they don't end up in this perpetual cycle. So again, I just want to thank you because I just had another amazing experience. I'm going to continue doing this until the problem is gone. It's a great way to see the world, and again, talk to your boys. Thank you.
Every year, the Scholarship Selection Committee identifies one person to receive the top scholarship, which in recent years has been $5,000, and this person is recognized as the Jacobson Scholar. Pulang Moshele is the Jacobson Scholar for 2018. She was born in Lesotho, South Africa, a country devastated by AIDS, HIV. She is now studying public health here at the university. Her father died while working in a South African mine, so her current focus is on industrial hygiene. The Hawkinson Fund is especially recognizes Pulang's efforts to help HIV/AIDS orphans in Lesotho, to provide compassionate care to Minnesotans with AIDS/HIV, and her plans to improve working conditions in South African laborers through industrial hygiene. Congratulations.
You can read more about my application in the book, so what I prepared is not really related to what I do, but it's just a little glimpse of who I am and how I got here. So when I was born, I was given the name Pulang, which translates into "it is raining." After having 3 boys, my mother's days of